Hey, I'm Matt Farnsworth, creator of The Orphan Killer, and you're here with Sean at Back to the Movies.
Hey, this is Diane Foster, and I'm star of The Orphan Killer, and you're here with Sean at Back to the Movies.
Joining us tonight is Matt Farnsworth, director of the horror film The Orphan Killer, along with the beautiful Diane Foster, who stars in the film. Thanks for joining us, guys. How are you doing?
We're awesome. Thank you for having us.
Well, great. Thanks, man. Nice to be here.
No problem. So The Orphan Killer has been tipped worldwide to be the next generation of horror. Forget Michael Myers, Jason and Freddy. There's a new name in slasher horror, and that's masked murderer Marcus Miller. Can you tell us a little bit about the film, and how did the idea for the film come about?
Well, the idea for the film was back in like 2007, I believe. I came up with the concept. I wanted to make a slasher, and I've always been interested in slasher genre from basically the early '80s on. Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. Fan of the genre, and I'd made a film prior to The Orphan Killer called Iowa, so I was not new to filmmaking, and I thought it'd be a good direction to go in. I thought it'd be a lot of fun, so came up with the concept in New Jersey, wrote the script there, the basic ideas, actually lived kind of in the location where I wanted to shoot the film. And it just turned out very well. Very, very pleased with the results. People love it worldwide, and it's become a big horror icon.
Yeah, definitely. Now, with you saying that the film has been featured worldwide, I noticed that it was on iTunes. It's won various awards from festivals across the globe. Do you feel as though independent horror is now at a stage where it's matching its studio counterparts?
Well, The Orphan Killer is, no doubt. I don't know about a lot of other films, like in terms of, other slashers, but we had offers from both Lionsgate and Anchor Bay, when we finished the film, and they just weren't lucrative enough, in our opinion, to jump on it, and especially with the avenues now that are open to independent filmmakers all over the world to release their film and get the word out via social media. My concern was that it would be censored or cut differently than I had envisioned. And so we decided to go our own route and bring it out to fans. And the reception has been, massively pirated, 3 million and rising, but it has also become very famous. And I don't know that would have happened under the studio system. So there's definitely a different route for independent filmmakers there.
Yeah, I think it's easier now to be able to reach out to your fans via social media. But it's also a longer road. It's us doing all the guerrilla marketing. So I think that it will someday be where, hey, social media is the place where most people go, but it's still a little far way off from that.
I don't think so. I think it's right on.
You do?
Actually, yeah. Yeah, I think that we've made a horror icon.
You think you're ahead of the curve?
Yeah, I think it's gigantic. I think we have 3 million illegal downloads.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think we have 500,000 fans on social media. We have a mask going into Hot Topic, going into Morris costume shops, Spirit, Halloween Town, and I don't know that any of that would have happened under a studio system.
Yeah,
my belief is that it would have gone into Walmart. It would have been censored. It would have gone into Walmart. It would have gone all over the world, and it would have been in the $2 bin, on sale in 2 weeks, and then they never would have touched it for 7 years. They would have owned the rights, and I would have had basically nothing. Whereas now I'm looking at owning a horror icon and a mask. It's ridiculous. This mask is going into stores. This is the prototype off the production line from Trick or Treat Studios.
That's awesome.
Show the brains there in the back. There's some brains when she sticks her fingers in.
It's always good to have some brains, right?
Yeah, right, man. I think social media I think it's where it's at. I think more independent filmmakers should tell the studio to fuck off. for straight away.
I agree, but what I'm saying is that it's been more of a longer road for people like you and I who are independent, because you aren't going with the studio system, which is awesome. But you have to be willing to do that long.
I mean, yeah,
road.
you have to do marketing. You have to be
stick
good
with
at
it.
that. Yeah, you've got to take photographs. You've got to do marketing. You've got to do a lot of work. You got to be willing to put in the time. I mean, you're right about that. And you also have to make a good movie. So.
And a lot of times filmmakers think, oh, well, okay, my film's with the studio, and now I'm all good. But that's not really what happens. You end up being put into this system where you could get lost. And I think with the advent of social media, you don't have to get lost, because you can reach out directly to your fans, and that's where we've been successful.
Yeah, we've had a lot of success, and I think that it's a way to go. Let's put it that way. And if you make a good movie, something unique, other independent filmmakers out there, have confidence in your product. Take it out yourself if you don't get what you want from Hollywood or whoever else it is you're talking to.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, social media for myself personally, as well as other independent filmmakers out there, it's massive to gaining an audience, to interacting with fans and bringing out that niche that Hollywood doesn't have. They churn the films out, they get them out there in the public eye and people speak about them. But the independents, they've got that connection with the fan. They can build up that fan base on a more personal notice, so it brings everybody together closer and more relevant to the film in question. So it's much better avenue to go down rather than a Hollywood path, so to speak.
Yeah, we find that. I mean, we communicate with the fans every day, and every single day it's someone else saying, I love the film, and there's not really a better feeling than being able to make a film and then people saying to you, I love what you've done. So it's really important to us.
That's daily. We're lucky. I mean, I wake up every day and, my Twitter feed is full with, greatest film I've seen ever, or, just the horror icons, people are. It's constant for me, Carpenter, Argento. I mean, I get mentioned now with directors that I, watched when I was a kid and love their movies. So for me, the adulation is, I like the interaction with fans. Fans are cool. Fans are where it's at. And they're almost like friends, in a way. It's like a big TOK family at this point. And I like that, Granted, it's not immediately paying me $35 million, off the top, like a studio might do, put marketing into it, I guess. But with the studio system, you're never going to see that money back out. Whatever they pay to promote your movie, they're going to say, this is our P&A. Here's our promotion and advertising. It's going to cost $25 million. Yeah. Then they're going to say, when the receipts come in, even if it makes $50 million, sorry, it cost us $52 million to market it now. And that's how that works. So a lot of times producers get just snubbed right out. And it's tough. So definitely this is the route to go. I've never had a better time than making The Orphan Killer and promoting it and talking to the fans and being able to go to conventions. And the whole thing is just really great.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there, man. I was looking through the internet regarding the film, and I noticed that the film has been banned in Germany due to its glorification of violence. What was your reaction when you found out about this, and does this now make the film more appealing to the more devoted horror junkies out there?
It makes it more appealing to the horror junkies. I mean, they want to hear it's banned in Germany like the original Texas Chainsaw was. I think it just came off the banned list last year. Evil Dead, Last House on the Left. I mean, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Hostel. I mean, all these, good movies.
Films we like.
Are banned in Germany. I mean, I was shocked when I got the letter, actually. It was like a 7-page document from the German government. And it was in German, so hey, thanks for that. You're sending it to America. You may want to transcribe it into English. But hey, I had it transcribed, and it basically said you're not allowed to sell your movie here. People can buy the movie in Germany, and they can have it shipped there, and they can own it, but they are not allowed to actually sell it in retail in Germany.
Well, they said glorification of violence, but they also said it was youth endangering.
Yeah, they said basically we're a danger to youth, and we glorify violence. So I guess that was the problem they had with it, and I guess it was because the acting was just so believable that they could hardly handle it.
It's an honor, really. I mean, it's a badge of honor as far as we're concerned. At first, we didn't really know what to think of it, and then we thought, well, that's really incredible that this indie film is banned in a country. And I think that shows the power of social media, that we're able to reach people all over the world. So it really is a badge of honor, and we're really proud of it.
We consider it an award. I believe it's on the website. It's under the awards section.
It's, in a way, it's like one of the biggest compliments in the world. Think of all the films that have been banned in Germany. Hostel 2, you've got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You are right in there with that niche now. The Orphan Killer, banned in Germany. It's going to drag so many people, horror junkies, maybe even film fans who don't even like horror that much. Why was this film banned? I've got to check it out. What was the reason? So it's pretty awesome. It's a great selling point.
Yeah, we're lucky. It's amazing that as an independent film that happened. I can't count on... I don't think I can really find another film that's, clearly independent, that's never been touched by a studio. For that matter, a film that has never been released, like, to the public other than on our site and just on last month on 420 on iTunes. This was banned a year ago. I mean, that's how powerful the film was. I don't know how...
Yeah, I'm not sure there is another film that's completely independent that's banned there. Along these other films.
Yeah, so. I don't think so. I don't even know how that's really possible. I mean, I know we sold some from the store that had German subtitles, but it's amazing that they recognize this independent film, out of how many movies come out that studios put out or other I think there's 120,000 independent films made a year or something. Wow. So, it's quite amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Congratulations on that one. Now, Diane, it's safe to say that you're the lead of this film, and this production has catapulted you into the public eye since the success of the film. How did you and Matt meet, and how does it feel being a part of a new franchise of horror?
Well, thanks. It's absolutely amazing. Matt and I met on a film a long time ago, about 11 years ago in Hollywood, with Jeremy London. It was called Descendant. I had a very bit part. Matt and I hit it off right away. We worked really, really well together, and we both knew that we wanted to make films. And we started making a film called Iowa. That was at Tribeca Film Festival. It had Rosanna Arquette, John Savage, Michael T. Weiss in it. That was a crystal meth drama. It did very well. It was all over the U.S. in theaters, in indie theaters. And we just keep making movies. We decided to make The Orphan Killer together, and it's an ongoing process. And I'm really happy to be able to work with Matt. He's really talented, and he gives me the opportunity as an actress and a producer to be able to be really creative, but also have a great business sense. And we just work really well together. So I'm really happy, and I'm happy so many people like my performance in the film and that they like the film in general. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a question that I did want to ask you. I've been having a lot of messages through ever since I mentioned that this interview was going to take place. Now, everyone seems to be mentioning this certain scene during the film where you are in the shower, Diane. Is this a nervy experience when you're on camera doing those kind of scenes, or knowing that an audience will always be watching? Is it nerve-wracking? Is there anything that you want to say on that?
Well, I do take a shower, yes, and I do get naked in the film, but that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I think I'm really comfortable with my body, and I have no problem walking around naked pretty much all the time. So that
Matt's
doesn't
face
bother
said it
me.
all. Matt's face said it all right there.
I don't complain. I just sit and watch.
When you're on a set, everyone made me feel very comfortable, and for the most part, it was a closed set, so only a few people were in there when we were doing those scenes because they are a little bit more sensitive, and we wanted to get them right. But no, I really enjoy doing them, and I'm happy for people to see it. And I think, especially if it's a part of the film and it makes it better, then yeah, I'm happy to show my body, and I think that's part of this genre as well. The sexiness of it, and I feel like I lend myself to that on a daily basis. So I'm happy that people are talking about it.
It's a trip. When we were in Spain, we were in San Sebastian, and we were premiering at the San Sebastian Film Festival, the Horror and Sci-Fi Festival, and we were in the little section there where they have a big theater. It looks like literally like pirates live there. It's right on the ocean, and we're trying to make our way to the theater, and we had never had an experience, I think, where there were fans everywhere and they were stopping us, and we had to we couldn't get into the theater. So
they were screaming and
yeah,
El Guapo, El Guapo.
Okay, and so we go into the theater, and it's 3 levels high, balconies, and they're screaming and yelling, and we introduce the film, and we think they're going to calm down. We're like, okay, the movie's going to start now. They actually get more amped up when the movie starts, and they continue speaking and yelling. And by the time she takes her clothes off in the locker room, they're literally whistling, and pointing at her, in the theater. And so that was, I think, one of the parts where, you'd say that was really kind of odd for a minute.
I liked it.
She didn't mind it. I didn't mind it either, but I thought it was funny how they expressed themselves, so much throughout the film in Spain and different cultures. It amazed me.
Yeah.
They never stopped talking throughout the entire film, stamping their feet when there would be a kill. They just were really interactive with the film. Whereas, you get into the U.S. and nobody makes a sound, say at a festival here in the U.S. or when we screen
even in a movie theater.
Even in the theater, they don't really, they don't make a peep. In fact, some of them are actually quite frightened, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't make any noises, about the nudity or have any thought on it. I don't think so. Cultures are very different.
Well, I think people like it.
They like it.
They have a thought on it.
They're just quiet.
Quiet about it.
Yeah.
Some actresses, have a hard time with that. I'm not that kind of actress. I enjoy doing it, and I think it really helps the picture. I
said something interesting about that. I was wondering if Janet Leigh in Psycho, all those years ago, if it were to be more modern day, would she show a little breast in the shower? Would they go for that? And would it be better if she did?
Well, we're much more conservative here in the U.S. Like in Europe, nudity is
totally cool.
Is totally fine. So I think it's really here in the U.S. I'm not exactly sure how it is in the U.K., but I know here it's really you're not allowed to do that a lot. So
I know, it's crazy. Whereas in Argentina or in Chile, they have nudity in commercials, first thing in the morning on cartoons, it's not a big deal. They also have gore. They have a lot of, a lot of violence and crazy out there stuff, which I think is really cool. I wish that the rest of the world were a little bit more like that, maybe someday.
Yeah, maybe. I know from the UK's point of view, there is bits and bobs, but it's nothing too extreme. But I know for sure that in Amsterdam they have topless weather girls doing the weather every morning, which is pretty crazy. So imagine just sitting there, you're relaxing, you're just waking up, you turn on the TV, it's like, whoa, good morning. Yes,
that's so nice. Funny. Yeah, and I guess that lends itself to that. For me and for us, I think it's part of a film, so. I don't know that I would necessarily want to do the weather girl like that, but I don't know. It might be kind of fun.
Oh, man. That's funny.
And I'm glad we've got that recorded just for future reference as well. Awesome. So, Matt, what are your influences in the horror genre? What films really stand out for you that inspired you to make The Orphan Killer?
I like a lot of movies. I like The Shining. I like the original Nightmare on Elm Street. I like Halloween. I like some of the Friday the 13th. I like The Killing. I like Jaws. I like so many movies. The list is endless. I don't, just gravitate only toward horror. I like lots of movies, but in the horror genre, I would say those are top. Maybe even Texas Chainsaw. Although I actually wasn't as partial to that as I would say, Freddy was a big one. I like Wes Craven. He's influential. I think John Carpenter is obviously really influential, in what he was able to accomplish. He started that, whole masked, character thing. He might not have started it originally. There are monsters and creatures in films, but that type of slasher element.
You've said Kubrick and Lynch, David Lynch.
David Lynch I'm a fan of, too. I love Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks. I like some weird out there stuff, too.
But also old movies like, Orson Welles films.
I like A Touch of Evil. Yeah, I like A Touch of Evil. I like, some of his older stuff. I even like some of his radio shows. I'm a big fan of film. I think that it helped me when I was a kid, I moved around a lot. I moved from state to state. I was in like 13 or 14 different schools by the time I'd even graduated from high school. And so I had to adapt to a lot of environments. There'd be a lot of summers where you'd spend this time, not knowing anybody. You'd be moving to a new place, and well, you're a kid. You don't have a car. You don't have anything. What do you have? You have a VHS player, movies, and that's what you got. And I would just watch a lot of films, and that was really my film school was learning by watching, not unlike a Tarantino.
Osmosis.
He's also an influence. I mean, Quentin Tarantino, I get compared to a lot. My first film, Iowa, was actually a big hit. I mean, it was a big film, and they compared, a lot of the directing style and stuff to Tarantino because I think he had a pretty good influence on me. A big fan of his.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I agree with near enough every single film you've mentioned there. Now, when you did mention a few of the Friday 13th, which ones stand out for you? Because for me personally, it's the ones that Kane Hodder starred in. Friday the 13th, Part 7, 8, 9, and Jason X.
Jason X, yeah. I actually like the old school original as well.
And Halloween.
And Halloween.
I think you were really influenced by the original.
There was a kill I really liked in there. Was it Kevin Bacon that gets the arrow through the throat?
It is, yeah. He's lying in bed and he's got the arrow straight through. Yeah, awesome scene.
I like that one a lot. I thought that was a great kill. And I think that influenced me greatly. Also, I think that's in the first film, right?
Yeah, as far as I remember. Yeah, it is, yeah.
I remember that one. And I remember I don't watch a lot. I mean, I don't watch a ton of these because I'm busy working on this stuff. But I remember the arrows. It was like a shooting gallery out in the woods, and there was like a girl running around out there. I liked that element of that film, all the lights coming on, just the fear, the terror. I think that that Friday the 13th brought to it, and the sound. I think there was that cool sound effect when you hear Jason coming. He's around. I thought that was a cool element of that franchise. And I've always sort of gravitated toward funky stuff like that.
You've definitely got good taste. Now, with you, Diane, near enough the same question, but did you have any horror movie characters that you drew inspiration from when you played the role of Audrey in the film?
Yeah, I would say that I'm definitely inspired by Jamie Lee Curtis in the original Michael Myers film. I think also Janet Leigh, for sure, her mother. I don't think I picked out anyone in particular. I felt like I wanted Audrey to be her own thing. She has this I wanted her to have this vintage quality like a Janet Leigh, but also be able to sort of get through this and have the mindset of someone who could go through this and get through it, especially as a female. I wanted to make her a little bit stronger than just sort of running around screaming. So I think it's a bunch of different films. And again, I'm a film fan like Matt. So there wasn't anyone in particular, but I would say that those two women have inspired me mostly from watching all of their films. But there's lots of other actresses too that I enjoy. But I think for this genre, definitely they would be inspirational to me.
Fantastic. Now, when I watched The Orphan Killer, the ending of the film showed no signs of a sequel in the works, but everyone said that about Halloween. There is a slight twist, though, however, at the end. Will we see The Orphan Killer return in some shape or form sometime in the future?
Yeah. Yeah, I've written the second film. Look, have you seen Misery?
I have, yes.
Okay, the end when Kathy Bates is like about to deliver James Caan the meal?
Yep.
Yeah, and it's like it's a waitress, but it becomes Kathy Bates.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened at the end of The Orphan Killer, if you recall, is walking up the road and it's the mailman. And it becomes the Orphan Killer. So it's still in her mind, I think the Orphan Killer is unkillable. It's so powerful that he's like this massive slasher energy now. And her character has the same bloodline. We know that. They have the same mother and father, the same genetics. She's been through some traumatic stuff. We don't even know what her childhood was like. We just make an assumption based on the film that she was adopted and everything was great.
Yeah.
But we don't know what actually went on. We don't know her life yet. We don't know that she's not, also a little twisted and maniacal. And so I think that in the next picture, you're going to see something that is going to sort of flip everything on its head, and people are going to be shocked, that the sequel goes in a certain direction that nobody would expect.
Yeah, and I think also, you have so many creative ideas that we can't get it all into one film. So they have to be other films. And this story sort of goes on, Marcus and Audrey's story. And Matt has so many incredible ideas. The second one is just out of control, crazy. So I'm really looking forward to making it, and hopefully we can do that, soon. Everybody asks every day, and the funny thing is that this film hasn't even been released worldwide yet, in stores and things like that. So we're still trying to do that, as well as try and work on, getting things together for a sequel. So everyone just has to hang tight, and we're going to give the goods. We just have to take some time to do it.
I've got a guy right now at Cannes Film Market who's a very popular, rep, who's taken the film there to the market, and I've actually emailed Terry Fremeau, who's the director of the Cannes Film Festival, to see if we can't do a little midnight screening. I don't think that'll happen this year, but possibly next year. And I do believe that the film will be. I'm going to go ahead and do some deals, internationally. I'm going to go ahead and, at this stage of the game, let the Orphan Killer, be released on the masses, and we're going to do different territories and do UK, Australia. We're going to do France. We're going to do Japan. We're going to do, all of Asia. We're going to do Canada. We're going to do US. We're going to do a formal release of the picture, and then I think, after that happens, then we'll be looking at a sequel for sure. By that time, The Mask will be hitting stores, and Halloween will be rolling around, and we'll be talking to, different people about when we start filming.
That sounds fantastic. I really can't wait till it comes over to the UK for sure. I mean, I've already seen the film myself personally, but I feel like checking it out again straight away because it's one of those kind of films. So Matt, Diane, I just want to thank you for coming on the show. I mean, I wish you all the best with the release of The Orphan Killer and anything that you've got lined up for the future. That little taster into what the next film could possibly be is definitely going to leave the fans wanting more. So I really hope they check out this interview and spread it around so everyone's talking about The Orphan Killer too. All the best for the future. Thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having us. We're really, really happy to do it and happy to meet you.